Hey everybody, yeah, I'm a little late on this video here. I kind of slipped up and didn't get this one in time. Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife are found dead in LA as their drug addiction son is arrested. I've been about a day off from this here, and all. And to be honest, their son been a drug addict for a long, long time. I'm thinking at least about when he's 16 years old. First time his son did drugs was 16 and everything. And yeah, let's get into the video, shall we?
That Nick could shine poorly on your career or something like that?
That never crossed my mind. I mean, he's my son. I love him. It doesn't matter. That he's more important than anything that could happen.
Man, listen, Rob Reiner. Okay, I feel like now
Rest
in
in peace.
2025 we understand why his biggest concern was not his son ruining his legacy, because he had a lot bigger issues to worry about. He was living alongside a monster. Grown ass man, again, this is a story as old as time, grown ass man relying on his rich ass parents. Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, killed both of his parents right after a Christmas party. Just killed him. We don't know why yet, but the one thing I will say is he's alive. Bro, mother and father, out of here. Out of here. Now, if you guys don't know who Rob Reiner is, big, huge director in Hollywood. Everybody knows a Rob Reiner movie, or maybe a movie he was actually acting in. Okay, let's just show the discography, not the discography. Let's show the movies he's been in real quick, the IMDb or whatever. Everybody's seen The Bucket List with Jack
Yep.
Nicholson and Morgan
Right.
Freeman.
Good movies.
What else? Most of us have seen A Few Good Men. He's been in a lot of movies that a lot of people have seen, or he's directed them. Rob Reiner's son, the powerful and very known wealthy director of Hollywood, his son kills him and his wife. Now, listen, I always say when kids get to a certain age, they need to stand on their 2 feet, but there's nothing wrong with helping your kid. Rob Reiner's kid was a drug addict. He loved smoking the ganja, popping pills, but he was a problem child. He was like an aggressive child. That's why I showed that beginning. He was like, oh no, I get crazy. A lot of parents have drug addict kids. A lot of parents help their drug addict kids to become sober, and life moves on and they get kids and they just live into the sunset. That happens all the time. But the difference between Rob Reiner's son, Nick, I feel like he was just an ungrateful bastard. I mean, I looked at this story for 2 seconds before I started doing this video, and in my head, the first thing that pops up was ungrateful bastard. You could be a drug addict and still be grateful for your parents. FYI, you know what I mean? Like, you could be a stealing, addicted piece of shit and still really love your parents. Like, damn, man, I'm really trying to do better. I'm tweaking out. Let me just go back to therapy. This was not the case. And I feel like this is the phenomenon that happens with a lot of rich kids. Not all of them. I know some rich kids from back in my high school who were cool as fuck, solid ass dudes, rich as hell. All the new gadgets and shit, they had it. The parents let them have it, or they worked toward it, whatever. But there's the spoiled rich kid. The spoiled rich kid is dangerous, and we've seen this in people like Grant Armato. Remember, he used like 250,000 of his parents' savings on a cam model. Then when they confronted him, he killed them. Same energy. And Grant Armato is not even rich compared to someone like Rob Reiner's son. You could get anything you want, bro. You want a new car? You want a new car this year? Like paid off, brand new? Like, just stop doing drugs, I'll give that to you. Like, he could have millionaires. Okay? I feel like with his spoiled attitude, he just created this what's the word? He created this entitlement that was bigger than anybody's conceivable entitlement range. Like, he believed that he deserved the things that he had. And I feel like any type of pushback on him would cause violence, in my opinion. And we're gonna see a few clips about the environment that I think led him down this path. His father said out of his own mouth he doesn't really believe in punishments and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and check this out, man. Rest in peace to both Rob Reiner and his wife. And Nick is still alive, so we're gonna keep our eyes open. He did his first court appearance recently. It's a crazy December, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's go ahead and check this thing out. So I want to play this clip for you guys. This was a couple of years back in 2016 when him and his son were creating a movie basically loosely on the life of Nick Reiner himself. Drug addicted kid, fucking his life up. Pretty much. That was the premise of the movie, and I think that his father assumed that this creative outlook might jumpstart his career and might actually give him something to live toward other than just drugs. So let's take a look at it, but what they cover in this interview is a little telling of the family dynamic.
I mean, it was like over a period of a year. It was intense. It was difficult at times, but it was also the most satisfying creative experience I've ever had.
What was the most difficult part about working together for the two of you? I mean, I have trouble working together with my dad on yard work, let alone, a 2-year movie.
Well, what kind of yard work do you do?
That could be where it lies. I don't like raking,
Well, there you go. You got some negatives going in. What did you think? What was the toughest for you? What do you think, Nick?
It wasn't very tough. I mean, it was a pretty nice experience for me. I don't really think it was like tough at all.
Really?
A little bit, but
I mean, we did get into fights over things, but ultimately it forced us to make the.
And even everything about this guy, just look at him. He looks like Frankenstein's monster or some shit without the green paint on him, without the bolts in the paint. You know what I'm saying? He looks creepy and freaky. And even the way he responds is just very dry and empty. Oh, there was nothing I didn't like about it at all. Come on, you're bullshitting. Then Pops is gonna come in like, "Well, we got into some fights and shit." This is not the main part. I just wanted to point out. I just wanted him to talk so you guys could get a mental voice in your head of the lovely Nick. But let's continue. This is part of the reason I think he's the way he is.
Make the film better. I mean, we get into issues, and I would see, he would. The whole process for me, I can just speak for myself. It did make me understand him a lot more, and I think it made me a better father. Hopefully, it did. I don't know, but I think that, and you'll see it in the film. What happens is, your kid. If your kid is going through rough times, the parent your main job is to keep your child safe. So I would do anything. I felt at a loss, so I would do anything that, as we say in the film, anybody with a desk and a diploma, I would listen to them. And the whole idea of tough love and you have to be a certain way. And it's not my nature. It's not the way I am built, but I went and did that,
And that's it right there. It's not my nature, but I went and did that. I feel like, he said it. We don't have to feel like it. He said it. And, I'm not taking away from him. At least he was present in his kid's life trying to do something, but it wasn't the right thing, man. You want to nurture your kid to a certain age. Excuse me. You want to nurture your kid to a certain age, but at a certain point, you have to show them that consequences exist. You can't just coddle them the entire way. So probably, teenage years, getting older, doing dumber and dumber shit. Smoking weed in the house and shit. We've all been there. He gets caught. Dad doesn't do nothing about it. Then he moves up to the harder drugs. Dad doesn't really say too much about it. Now he's a full-blown addict who resents his father. At the same time, that's just my spitball theory. Don't take it from me. But that's what I feel like it is. The whole tough love thing, he said we would go in front of anybody with a desk. That's what you need to do. Anybody who's been through any type of shit will let you know that at a certain point, you can't force your kids to do anything. You gotta let them go out there and experience it. And that's what he refused to do. I feel like that's what Stephen Stern's parents refused to do. That's what Grant Armado's parents refused to do. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. You could end up dead by the very thing that you created.
I think that, at the end of the day, I know my child better than an expert does, and I probably should have trusted my own instinct. And that's one of the things I did learn about the whole experience.
I think the bonding came not from the story itself, but from the fact that we were working on a movie together, and I could see him in his, I would think, in the form that he could express himself the best, which is making movies, because he has so much experience. And so seeing that sort of turned me around to be like, okay, I should probably...
No, sorry, I'm responding.
I should probably shut up and listen to him because he knows a lot more about this. He knows I don't know anything, so I'll learn whatever he has to teach me.
So yeah, and he says this multiple times. It's almost like he says it verbatim on a different interview. I'm not going to show it because he's literally saying the same shit. He said that he put his kid in front of a whole bunch of experts, which maybe might not be the best thing in the world, but he put his son in front of a whole bunch of experts when he's going through his problems, including him being a little vicious. And there's one thing being a drug addict, is another thing being a drug addict and violent, right? So he's putting them in front of all these people, and they're all telling him the same thing. Hey, you kind of got to let him go. You kind of got to let him fish out there, float out there in the wilderness, if you will, and figure it out for himself. Dad didn't want to hear that. And he says this multiple times, like this was the tipping point that made our relationship better. No. You taught your son how to hide the emotions a little bit better to make you think that things were better. But anyways, we're going to go through the events that led up to this situation, because apparently everybody was out having a good time at Christmas parties, including their son. So let's check this out. So if you go over to Twitter, it says, update, details emerge in Rob Reiner murder investigation. Bill Hader, horrified. And we'll understand why he's in this picture. New details have surfaced regarding the events leading up to the tragic murders of legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Their son, Nick Reiner, 32, remains in custody after being charged with 2 counts of first-degree red rum. Hours before the killing, Nick reportedly attended Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, where witnesses described him as acting erratically and crazy, quote-unquote. Sources claim that Nick had a tense chat with comedian Bill Hader. Now, what's that tense chat about? And Bill Hader's probably sick right now thinking about all the signs. He was probably talking shit about his parents. But another thing is, kids like this are always talking shit about his parents. So Bill was probably at the party, drinking a cocktail like, okay, kid, that's crazy. It fucking sucks, huh? Let's continue. With comedian Bill Hader after Nick allegedly interrupted a private conversation. Hader is said to be horrified by the tragedy and is refusing to speak publicly about the interaction to avoid making the story about himself. I mean, you brought it up already. So just tell us what he said and we'll forget. Like, what? You brought... Anyway, maybe it was just onlookers that are aware that he had a tense conversation with Bill. Anyway, Rob and Michelle Reiner were discovered in their Brentwood mansion on Sunday with their throats slit. Investigators believe that they may have been asleep at the time of the attack. Nick, who lived in the family guest house, was later arrested at a motel where police reportedly found a scene full of blood. Oh, so it's like the motel had blood in it too. I guess obviously, right? You're going to be covered in blood. I didn't even have to read this far to assume that this piece of shit lived with his parents. Now again, they're millionaires. So they could afford, live in the guest house. It's cool. Get your shit together. But it's just one of those things where it feels like, he never really felt consequences. He probably was in a rage, did what he did, and now for the first time in his life, his 30-year-old life, he's going to get a wave of repercussions that he never thought were even fathomable. He's going to get a wave of repercussions that he didn't even think existed. He thought they were fake. People with money don't have to answer for the things they do. Now, again, I'm not saying this is what the family was teaching him, but from what his father says, they weren't doing a really good job at teaching him, consequences. But let's continue. The investigation into a motive continues. Rob Reiner, an Emmy-winning actor and iconic director, and Michelle, a photographer and producer, had been married 36 years. And you know, somebody was on Twitter kind of just compiling shit, but I just want to show you this little splice together because the signs really were there. They needed to let this birdie flap its wings by itself.
I get crazy. I get crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to set me off.
We both can get.
I mean, they're kind of sensationalizing.
Between the two of you.
I made mistakes in that I didn't go with my gut instinct and the feel, and I know Nick better than, you know, some expert who's never met him, and I think had I listened.
Listen, it is kind of spooky. It is kind of spooky. This is the other interview that I said we weren't going to cover. I mean, this is another part of it. It's spooky, bro. I will say.
I didn't go with my gut instinct and the feel, and I know Nick better than, you know, some expert who's never met him, and I think had I listened to my own instincts, I would have done a lot better by Nick.
It was a real, nutcase. I was crazy. And I just, it was more than drugs. It's really always about more than that.
I mean, he's telling you it's more than, and this is what I'm going to say as well. You have a druggy son, typically they're not going to be violent toward their parents unless they really have issues, unless they're actually kind of psychos. He said it was almost never always about drugs. It was almost always more than that. What is the more than that? I'm trying to understand what the more than that was. Was it also that you're doing drugs and you're a fucking psychopath? Look at the eyes, man. They live amongst us, people. My friends and family, they live amongst us. But anyways, before we move on, let's get into some actual raw footage because obviously we live in 2025, the dystopian future. Anywhere you go on this planet Earth, anywhere you go, typically in this country at least, and a few other countries and continents, there's going to be you're going to be recorded. You're going to get recorded. It's just the way it is now. So let's see. Apparently, this is him walking to the house before the killing. Just, just walking, chilling, vibing, grooving, moving. And I mean, he does look a little homeless, bro. I will say he does look a little homeless. It's crazy that you could be a homeless piece of shit when your parents are millionaires. Now, before we get to the actual arrest video, because we have that as well, a sliver of it. This is him after the situation took place, and now it looks like he's at a 7-Eleven, tweaking out, just panicking for good reason. Look at him. You don't know what you want to do. Let me get a soda. Let me get a Gatorade. Blue Gatorade. Okay. It looks like he got a 0 though. That looks nasty. I hate 0. Yeah, he got a blue 0. That's how you know he's panicking. He went and got a blue Gatorade 0. Them shits are nasty. Might as well just get the regular one. The regular one's fire. That's how you know he's panicking, because he got the nastiest. Panting, pacing, looking. And of all things, that actually makes sense. I was going to say, of all things he has a red backpack, which is like, hey, look at me. But maybe he was thinking with all the blood, kind of gives me a little premeditation there. With all the blood, it would kind of blend in with the red backpack. I don't know. And he paid with cash. I was just going to say, I don't know why he would use his card. And that's pretty much it, man. He's just panicking, panting, and looking. So later on, obviously the police arrest him, and I will say this thing is moving a little fast right now. It's moving pretty fast because he's already seen the judge. So I'm just going to show you a little sliver of when he got arrested. Now what you want to do, there's this whole parking lot with the gas station and everything. Look across the street, follow my cursor, then I'll throw an arrow up. Right here there's going to be a man. That's our guy. And it seems as though he just doesn't really know what to do. I know they say he got himself a motel, so I don't know if his time expired with the motel, but he's standing here, he seems like he doesn't know what to do. Let's run the film. Ambulance passes him. Police officer passes him. And I think when they passed him, they're like, hey, wait, hold on a minute. Is that our boy? This is him right here walking out. And then they just come grab him. I mean, they swerved around on his ass so quick, that's crazy. Every single direction, bro. And he's alive and well. That's what you love to see. You love to see it. He is alive and well. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Because a lot of these pieces of shit are too pussy to come in to actually face the consequences. Guess what? These consequences about to be crazy. He don't even understand the word consequence like that. I promise you. He don't really get it. Consequence? What does that mean? I promise you. But anyways, before we go, I just wanted to give you a little bit more insight to